do you feel, just before we get into the lineups, like how do you feel in the game, and like what do you feel like Arsenal can do to kind of try and win? Like essentially, like of course we want to go there and not lose, but I want to win. So what do you think?
No, absolutely. And I think, like you said, we've been so close to winning there for 3 seasons in a row now. I think the 22-23 season, we should have won there 2-0 up. Points we felt like we were cruising, we were flying in that game, should have won that game. Not even comfortably, but we should have won that game. We should have saw it. Ended up Ramsdale having to make some incredible saves. Then 22-23, we go 1-0 up from a Gabriel header from a set piece. And then one Zinchenko mistake, and then they're in behind. So I think Salah scored. And then from there, it was a tough game, tricky game. Ultimately, to see it out. And then last season, like you said, that first half was shocking. First half, I lost my head that first half because coming off of a sour note, you didn't win the league. You fell off in terms of points wise, but I still wanted to see us at least go and play football there and show what we can do, show what we would look like. And first half we were shocking. So to ultimately come up second half and, like you said, dominate the game in the way we did and come back and should have ultimately won the game if Moreno didn't get sent off. Give the boys credit too, but this is the game, like you said, that we have to stamp our authority. I think even Liverpool fans know it within themselves that they've seen us building and getting better. So I think even within both fan bases, there's a sense of it feels good to stamp a market here with the win. And from an Arsenal perspective, I think we have the players now to stamp our authority. I think the Eze signing, opens up so much for us in terms of creativity, whether that be with Odegaard or even without Odegaard. That's just a different profile. That's just a different player. Even without Martinelli, even just having him off the left, that's still a different option that opens up a right wing. And Madueke, like you talked about with Kirkes, Madueke is somebody that I've been very impressed with. Very, very impressed with, especially against Leeds. The way he takes the ball forward, drives, beats his man constantly. Every single time he gets to his mindset is forward. Let me get the ball forward. Let me create a chance. Let me dribble. Let me get a shot away. That's the kind of players we needed more of those players, even just off the bench, or just as an option overall in this squad. So I'm happy to have him out of weekend. I think that's probably, I don't want to expose the lineup, but I think that's probably what I'd like to see. But I think ultimately we have to get at that. I think we have the better midfield, genuinely speaking. Even with the Gravenberch coming back from injury, I think I'm very confident. Even with Waneri playing in there, I'm not saying Waneri is better than certain guys, but I'm just confident with the Rice, Suleiman thing profile going next to us. I think even with Ethan, I think he has a bit of creativity, that ball carrying ability that will surprise a lot of Liverpool players. And if he gets the chances to open up and create, I think we're going to have the direct players in attack to ultimately cause them problems. Because we've seen, like you said, start to the season, they have been conceding a lot of chances. They give up goals, they give up opportunities, and we have a better defense. So it's just about how the game crumbles. I think we should be winning this game. I don't want to come on and put pressure because, like you said, we haven't won there in years, but I think we've been so close now with worse off squads, if I can say that I'm very confident going into this game. And yeah, ultimately, that's how I feel. But going into the lineups specifically, we can go through each position. I think defense, is probably the biggest thing because, goalkeeper, don't even have to mention David is obviously in goal. But is there anything you'd change about the back line? Any integrations you'd make?
Okay. Sorry, I'll start Lewis Skelly, left back. My apologies. As the only change. Obviously, hopefully soon Lewis Skelly's in midfield, but I would start him left back only on the reason of obviously Mo Salah is obviously, as much as sometimes he's quite an inconsistent player during the night, he's still Mo Salah. That is their outlet. He wouldn't drop back as much, so that's a fear. And obviously, considering how Mbeumo played in that first game, albeit Calafiori did have a good game, but I think that was one of Man United's key points to kind of try and find Mbeumo early with a switch, and that's similar to how Liverpool play. And I feel like Lewis Skelly, as we've seen previously in that Anfield game last season, played quite well against Salah. Still provides us that option to kind of control the game when he inverts and stuff. And with who I want to start, in the front line, I think it will still complement. And then you still have the option of bringing the Calafiori on second half to kind of open up the game, to kind of obviously bring that like different X factor. But I think it's not necessarily dropping Calafiori, just more rotating, as you said, Akin, what Mikel said in the press conference, different profiles for different games to try and exploit the weaknesses of the opposition. So I would go with that. What about you? Who would you change the defense?
I'd agree with that. I even remember his performance last season there at Anfield. I think he was solid there. He gave Mo Salah a lot of problems. He won a lot of fouls in that game. Drove the ball forward. Was very, very, very direct in that game, and was the outlet for us ultimately, and relieved a lot of pressure from their press. So I think that's something to look at towards to see what Mikel is going to do with the left back situation. Calafiori has been getting the nod in front of him, but they've been kind of rotating the minutes. Like you come off after 60, or that's how they've been moving the minutes. And I think this is probably the game Lewis Skelly might start. I mean, if the Lewis Skelly does start this game, I think that's the big indicator that Mikel Arteta still has him as one of the guys for the big games. And I think that could be long term. I mean, that could be like for also a situation, like you said, maybe it's just situational. Maybe that's just a fixed. Maybe he's the fixed guy for those big games. But we'll ultimately see long down the season. But I think I would go Lewis Skelly at left back. Um, into the midfield, I think certain positions obviously pick themselves. Zubimendi and Rice have to play. I think with that is the combination that's going to really dominate the game and potentially win us the game by a large margin. I do think Zubimendi is, like I said, one of the best sixes in world football. And I think Rodri aside, I think we have one of the best. The way he dictates the game, he controls the tempo. And when you watch the game and you see these guys get plaudits for scoring a lot of goals, it's Zubimendi pulling the strings that we don't see. So Zubimendi has been very, very quality. So Zubimendi and Rice obviously says no more. And then this is really the big option. I mean, do you go with Eze from the start? And if you go with Eze from the start, do you play him in the 10? I wouldn't mind Eze in the 10. I genuinely would not mind Eze in the 10, but I think I'd probably lean Waneri, and I think the manager will go with Waneri just from the fact that he's had a lot of good preseason in there and he's been playing consistent minutes in there. So it shows that the manager trusts him. The manager believes in his ability to play in the 10, even behind Odegaard, because you see he was the first sub on when Odegaard went down. It wasn't a thought process of moving guys around like that. So he says he's going to play him in the midfield. He's been played in the midfield. He's the guy under Odegaard. So when Odegaard is not there, I expect Waneri to be playing in the 10. And he's showing until his performances don't say not, or until his performances say otherwise, he should be playing in the 10. So yeah, that's what I'd go with for my midfield 3. Any options, any other options you'd go with personally?
Obviously, as you said, like there's the possibility of playing Eze in that 10 position with obviously Odegaard potentially not in the game. It's the possibility of Odegaard being fit and obviously him starting the game, of course, being our captain. And obviously, it's not like his legs were the ones that got injured. So if he's feeling good upper body wise, I'm pretty sure that he's fit. So, but Mikel did say he didn't train, and this was today. So even if he does train tomorrow, I don't know if that's going to be enough. But knowing the importance of him, maybe. But Odegaard's not available. I think I'm kind of lean. I think as I've through the week, I think I first said to you that I would play Eze in the 10. Because obviously just for the X factor, because it's a big game. But I'm kind of leaning towards the Waneri. I would love to see Waneri play in this kind of big game, but like kind of make it his own. Obviously, as you said, he's been playing in that position majority of the time for the pre-season. He's looked bright in every performance that he's played, in my opinion, this season so far, playing in the more natural position. And I think in absence of Odegaard, it's only right for him to play in the game, obviously being more knowledgeable about our press, being more knowledgeable about how we play off the ball. And I think he can have his own moments too to decide this game with the openness of how this game will be. Liverpool don't have in that natural defensive midfielder, albeit Gravenberch is a quality player. I think Ethan Waneri has a say in this game, and with the likes of Madueke, if he does start on the right, like I think the link up there, the interchange that could happen, also just the way Madueke plays, he's a ball carrier as well, opens up space for the game. And yeah, like so, I wouldn't really argue with your front, your midfield 3. What about your front 3? I think this is where we might. I'm assuming you're going to go Madueke off the right? If Saka,
yeah, I'm definitely going.
And obviously Gokra starts man. So who are you gonna go? Are you gonna go left foot?
I'm gonna go Eze off the left, and that's just because I want that X factor. And I mean, he's only been here a week. He's obviously training. He's obviously been fit and playing, and he's played with Rice. He's played with Lewis Skelly a little bit. I think. So I mean, I think you just slot him in from the left. I think that's easier. You have those guys that play around that side. He has the ability to play that side, and even then, you're still having a guy who could come inside and can even pick up those central pocket areas where Gyökeres running the channels, receive those even balls when Gyökeres drifts wide, pick up the central ball, and then still do his thing. So I think you definitely play Eze in this game from the start. Absolutely, whether you play him in the 10 or the left is up to really how you really want to approach the game. But I think somehow he has to fit in your team. And for me, he fits on the left. I would love to see him off the left, especially being very direct and getting at their fullbacks, whether that be Soboslai, who's there for them, or whether they come up with something else. I think I saw Bradley playing for them in the highlights against Newcastle. I don't know if that Connor Bradley might have come back from his injury, so that could be potentially something to look at. But yeah, I definitely go Eze off the left, man. Definitely go Eze. What about you?
Obviously, I've been thinking about this all week again, obviously, as you would happen as well. And I think the conclusion I've come to is, as much as I want to start Eze, and I won't be mad if Eze starts, I probably expect him to start, just given maybe Mikel how you might just see this game and just maybe has that feeling of putting him in. But I'm kind of leaning to go towards Martinelli for a few reasons. One, obviously, it's a big game. First game of the season. Obviously, we want to take the game to Liverpool, but we have to be respectful that it is their home ground. They are a good team. They are a very good attacking team, as much as maybe defensively you might say they have gaps. And Martinelli does provide that cover to, that right-hand side, which will definitely be Liverpool's more potent side. Obviously, with Salah being there, with, whether it's Szoboszlai or Bradley that plays in the game, they're going to, provide on that side. But it's kind of biased towards that side. And also, Martinelli, against Liverpool, historically has been one of our best performers in all his time being here. He either scores or assists, or definitely causes problems for, Trent over the years, on which we've got a lot of memories to. Last season in that game at Anfield, I'm pretty sure it was Martinelli that either got the first goal, and also just kind of turned up as well. Remember previous seasons and seasons after that where he's been that guy. And I think, even though yes, this is what we want to see in terms of Eze coming in playing this type of game, and as I said, again, I wouldn't be mad if Eze's playing, and I'm just thinking maybe more on the tactical side. I'm just like, okay, Martinelli, the high line, spacing behind, understanding of the system more, the press, and defensive duties as in general, how we might want to exploit it. It might be interesting, and also you have the option to bring Eze off the bench, in his first game to kind of affect the game as well. But this is why, I'm saying we're spot for trace, that here we pretty much have the same lineup, and where the arguments you have for Eze are completely different to why I want to start Martinelli, but they're completely valid, and I also believe them as well. So that's the reason why I'll go with Martinelli, just because I feel like, obviously, historically he's played well. He's been out of the team, got dropped the last game, didn't play in the last game. Pretty sure he'd be raring to go, knows his position is under threat. And in this kind of game where historically he plays well, the type of profile that would be good to exploit that space and behind from Liverpool, that pace. And if they do have a player like Szoboszlai, our position, even though, you would want an Eze, that X factor to come in, that pace of Martinelli in behind as a threat, in behind for Lewis Kelly's passing, Zubimendi can be interesting. Never said the least, especially with Konate looking like his head is not all there.
Yeah. I mean, I hear your shout for Martinelli. I genuinely thinking from the tactical side, I see why you would lean Martinelli, especially from a historic point of view. The only downside I'd say to Martinelli off the left is that sometimes we cut off our nose despite our face, and that means from the sense of we kind of try to counteract them, and obviously like we kind of suffer going the other way. No, Martinelli does have a tendency of scoring or assisting against Liverpool, but I'm just wondering if you don't decide to play that X factor, and then you can always have the option off the bench. I hear it both ways. I genuinely for Martinelli both ways. But I just think you have to go Eze from the start somewhere in there. But I hear it though, man. I hear the Martinelli show. Absolutely. Ultimately, people, that is the lineup. KP, we're gonna slowly get into the big one, what you ultimately think the result will be. But genuinely speaking, even with certain injuries there, I'm still confident that Arsenal can put in a strong performance at Anfield. I mean, the midfield and the defense is very, very key for me. Definitely having those guys back like Saliba and Gabriel, having that partnership back. David Raya with another strong start to the season. Great to see that. I think he's developed into one of the world's best goalkeepers. Have to give him his flowers as well. And Declan Rice and Zubimendi have gotten off to a great start as a partnership. Hopefully they can build on that. Hopefully put in another solid away performance. And we've shown that, like you said, in Arteta's tenure, that we can have big away performances, whether that be in the Premier League or in Europe. And I think we're only going to get better at that when we add a Gyökeres or whoever to the front line. And I would love to see Gyökeres and Eze from the start, just because I feel like that is another link up that's going to have so much promise in this season. And I think this is the game we might be able to exploit it. So,
my bad.
There we go. But yeah, I feel like this is the game we can really exploit our strengths on a Liverpool side, and I that's really how I'm approaching the game. I want us to impose ourselves, and I do have respect that it's Anfield, but I just believe in the squad. I genuinely believe in the squad, and I would like that we go there and try to impose ourselves on the game and not try to counter attack them too much. But I do also respect that it's Anfield. It's been a while since we've won there, but feeling how close we are, I'm feeling how close we would have been in some of those games where we look back on it and just say, if we only took this chance, if we only did a little bit more of this, or if we only did this, I'm ready to go there and no regrets when I leave this 90 minutes. But absolutely here the Martinelli show, absolutely.
No, 100%. I agree with you, and this is why obviously we have a big squad now. Like whoever does start, like even if they play well, they don't play well from the start, you have a different option off the bench to bring on to change the game. That's a different type of profile. That like the same way like Dowman now, like is a different profile to Madueke, even though they might bring similar things. They're both different players, so it's.
I think Dortmund gets games. I think Dortmund gets minutes against Liverpool.
Yeah, because I think Madueke won't play 90 minutes off the right, and Downham has shown enough that he can affect the game. That especially in Saka's absence now, you got to protect Madueke now. You can't get him injured.
And if Dortmund turns up at Anfield, it's just
so it's like whoever does start off the left, it'll be interesting to see. Let's see who gets closest to prediction right when the Sunday one comes out on Sunday. But as you said, we can beat Liverpool. We can take the game to Liverpool. We have taken the game to Liverpool previously. But as you said, they're going to have to respect Liverpool. They're going to have their 20 to 25 to 30 minutes in the game where they're going to be on top, where they're going to be, putting pressure on us, and we'll have to defend well, which we can, and we have. And that's why, I'm not saying they can't lock in and do that role. But I think any player can when they apply themselves. I'm just thinking about what Martinelli's done historically, and then the pace and outlet he does provide us that way. But obviously, as they having that X factor, having the dribbling ability, carrying ability, being at Anfield, having many performances previously as well. I won't be surprised if he does start, and if he does start, I won't be surprised if he does deliver for us as well. I'm just, as you said, like I just want us to go there and like if the game does fall for us and we do take the lead, or we do, we're in a position to win. Like we do have to see it out. Like we're not like it's hard enough. Obviously, it is Anfield, but previous times we've gone up there, and we've been winning, and we've conceded a goal, we've drawn, or we've lost that position. So if we are able to, take the lead in this game, I want us to be able to try and obviously add on to that lead, but also protect that lead by good defending, concentration, no silly like red cards or yellow cards that get the crowd up or get us, in a disadvantage. Let's go line. You can go first if you want.
On one hand, I'm going conservative, but I'm genuinely gonna give my scoreline. I say 3-1 Arsenal. And I genuinely think it's going to be a great performance. This is probably one of the first time in many years where I can sit here and tell you, KP, I'm looking forward to playing Liverpool, because I genuinely think, even with Saka no Odegaard, we just made a lineup, not even putting Saka and Odegaard in it. I don't want to boast chest and feel like or whatever, but I'm very confident in the squad. I think this season we can be putting on the marker for this Premier League, and I think Gyökeres is going to be a big part of that. I hope hopefully in the week, this is our third game, we're really fourth or fifth game if you really count preseason, where the team has been playing together with Gyökeres. You can clearly see the link up is getting a little bit better. Gyökeres I've been hearing reports that he's been putting in a lot of work behind the scenes to get fit for this game, and even what I've seen from him, he shows a lot of desire in terms of not only running the channels, but also in terms of fighting and even battling up front, being a nuisance for he's going to be a nuisance for Van Dijk. He's going to be a nuisance for Kanata, who you talked about. My head might be elsewhere at the moment right now. So I think if Liverpool are not ready on their game and we find that link up to Gyökeres and we get in our free flowing ability, I genuinely think we can score goals on this Liverpool squad. I give them the respect and say it's Anfield that they might get a goal and the momentum might shift. They might win a penalty or something. You know how football is, especially in the Premier League. But I said 3-1 Arsenal. I'm very, very confident. Very, very confident going into this game about the boys. What about you?
Obviously, that is my scoreline as well, and I'm gonna stick with it 3-1. I think it is Anfield. Liverpool can score a goal. They've got quality players. Like TK started the season well. Verts, albeit people bantering and all that stuff. I think he's a quality player. These are the type of games that these big players step up and play. Salah has played well against us before, obviously, and yeah. But I think at the same time we've got the tools to exploit them. Yeah, as you said, without even though we don't have Saka and Odegaard potentially, we still have players in there looking sharp, looking confident, still having the traits that can kind of exploit. And it's nice to feel that we can still go to this kind of ground and still expect and feel like we can win. And I think that's just credit to Eberechi and Mikel for the squad that obviously we've come up to this point. It's not just this summer, but this summer they've shown the ambition. Is what me and you talked many a times last season, bro. Many a times that this is just what the squad needs: complete overhauling. We need a lot of depth, and obviously without the history to show that Arsenal have done this, we didn't anticipate that we will actually get done. We were definitely hopes, but the fact that we've done it now and eight quality guys it's good, and it gives us that confidence and that boost, and that probably gives the players the boost as well. That like, hey, the clubs and everyone's seen that, okay, what we've done last season, the work that we put in, and how like we still tried, and obviously now we've got the support, we've got other players that can bring in quality to help us get over the line. And so, fam, just bring it on, man. Like, I can't wait for this game. 3-1, my prediction. And
3-1.
If we can get 3 points going into the international break, 3 out of 3, 9 points, obviously going into the 2 games afterwards, 2 home games, Forest and City, and then Newcastle before that. I think there's another international break after that. But
I think we play European games. Is Bayern in there as well from break?
Yeah, like going into those games, obviously, and then obviously Champions League starting as well. Like just building up the momentum. Like 3 wins on a trot, you can get maybe 4 against Forest, and then you start to kind of build that distance between you and make your claim for that title and give yourself a good advantage. So that's what I want us to do.
Absolutely, guys. Can't wait for the game. Can't wait for it all, man. It's gonna be a massive one. We give our scoreline, we give our predictions in terms of how we feel going into the game. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe to both of our channels, people.
Everyone in the comments, obviously, sorry, drop your predictions as well for this game. The big game. Drop your predictions, what you feel that your scoreline, who you feel might score, and man, I hope you all enjoy watching this game. Also, to give us something to remember. And on Monday we're talking with smiles.
Monday talking with smiles, man, because we definitely could be. But like I said, people, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, leave all your predictions and comments down below. Catch you guys on the next one very, very soon. Hopefully after a win. Peace.